Hi, this is the instruction video how to remember a shuffled deck of cards. The way I do it is I have a memory palace. A memory palace can be anywhere, it can be inside or outside. But the way I'm going to use this one, I'm going to use my home. Ideally, it helps if you have 18 spots around your memory palace. And there's a good reason for that. So, the way I have my memory palace is I have one placement outside my house, one placement at the door, one in the living room, one under the stairs. I have three in the kitchen, which is the kettle, the cooker, then the sink. And then it goes outside, then it's on the stairs, and then so on and so on. So in each position of your memory palace, you place three cards. So I've got three cards outside my house. And each card has got a person, action, object. That means each card is a character or person doing an action with an object. For example, I have King of Diamonds as Elon Musk inventing a rocket. I have, for instance, the Ace of Spades is me performing magic with a deck of cards. So what else will help you is if you have a category for each suit. So for suits I have heroes. So I'll have 13 different heroes in mind. Superman, Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk, Ant-Man, and so on. All the hearts will be related to a family member or a loved one. So this one is one of my sons. The clubs I have as my friends, and the diamonds I have as rich people or celebrities in general. So outside my house I have a friend who's performing an action with a certain object. Now this one is a friend of mine who likes to cook. So this one is a certain friend and he's cooking, and the object is a cooker. So I have a certain friend doing an action with a cooker. So then you remember three cards per placement. So this one is outside. You always want to stick to the same route in your memory palace. Never change it, and then you don't get mixed up throughout then. You want your memory palace to be somewhere very familiar to you. I have a few memory palaces. One's outside and it's like a bit of an adventure. It leads all the way down the street into different shops, McDonald's and everywhere. So it depends how high you want to remember in numbers. I've used it to memorise pi up to 81 decimals so far. So it's just an example. So you can use it for mnemonic stack, which I do as well. Another idea is to remember where the 26th position is in your memory palace. Ideally, you could start with the 12 court cards and just practice with the 12 court cards. When it comes to the actions and the objects, the sillier it could be, more memorable, or the more vivid the action, where you can relate to that person, and the object, what the first one that comes to mind, that'll help you remember. And the story that you create in your head in the memory palace, and all, it'll be ridiculous at times, but that's what makes it memorable. You know, you try to picture it in your mind, and that's how you remember it. So I picture a certain friend outside my house doing a certain action with that object, and so on. I know it can get ridiculous, like a certain friend of mine who's a magician riding a horse and turning green, and that's part of one of them where I've remembered it. And I will upload a video with written instructions in, so you can keep an eye out for that. So yeah, please subscribe for future videos, because I've got other ideas for this system as well to improve it. But this does work really well. I didn't create it myself, but I have thought of other ideas how to make it more so you can memorise it quicker. There is people that use this system to memorise a deck in a minute or two. Generally takes me 10 to 15 minutes to memorise a full deck. But I can do it quicker sometimes. So like I said, I have diamonds as rich people or celebrities. I have the spades as heroes or TV characters. I have hearts as family members. And I have clubs as friends. For example, I have the Queen of Hearts as my mum. I have the King of Spades as Superman. You could also add smells and colour when you're trying to memorise your stack of cards. As you're picturing it in your head, you're creating a story. That's how you memorise the deck. And it just makes it more vivid for you to remember the shuffled deck of cards, and you'll realise when you memorise a deck, it'll stick with you for a short while, a few days, depending how often you go through it. And ideally, you want to have more than one memory palace if you're going to be performing more than one sequence of deck. Because if you keep using the same location for different orders, then you might get a bit mixed up if you do it too fast or too frequently. So for example, I have my mum's, my dad's, a friend's house. I have the one on the streets. I have an uncle and auntie's. I have various ones that I use, and I always stick to the same path in the memory palace. So I'll just give you a quick demonstration how I'm going to do it. So, and then I'll perform it quickly. So I've got 3 cards outside, 3 at my front door. I have this one as Ben Affleck, and I'll tell you why in the next card when it comes along. So I have Ben Affleck being silly with a cigarette, because the object of this card is a cigarette. The action of this card is smoking. No, sorry, not smoking. The action of this card is being silly, and this is Ben Affleck. So at the door I've got Ben Affleck being silly with a cigarette. So I just picture that. And then in my living room, I have his wife. I have this as his wife. And she's reading, the action is reading of this card. And this is Superman. So, and his object, we'll say, is kryptonite. Then I go under the stairs. So this was a hero, and Ben Affleck played Batman. So just to make it a bit more memorable in my head as a character, this is Ben Affleck. And this is also Ben Affleck, but it's his superhero character, Batman. So this is Batman, because it's a spades and it's a superhero. Now I'm going to the kettle. These 3 cards are at the kettle. Another thing I do, I generally have aces as magicians in mine. So this is a friend who's a magician. The ace of spades is me, and ace of diamonds is Harry Houdini in my moniker. Obviously, yours doesn't have to be superheroes. You just want to place them into categories so it's easier for you to remember. And then I go to the cooker. This is one of my sons. This is Wonder Woman. And this one I have as Jack Sparrow, and his object is a ship. Her action is whipping a whip. So I've got my son whipping a whip on a ship. Then I go to the sink. then the backyard outside. On the stairs. So this is Harry Houdini doing magic, and the object of this is a bat. So it's Harry Houdini doing magic with a bat. So I just picture that as him doing magic in various sorts, making it big and small and disappear or whatever on the stairs. And then now I'm in the bathroom at the sink. Now in the bathroom in the bath, because there's not too many locations here, so I've had to be a bit more creative. I'll just move these up a little bit. I've just made a bit of room. So now I'm in the front bedroom on the chair. Now I'm on the front bedroom on the bed. This is my mum. James Bond. But this is the action, because it's the middle card. On the bed, these 3 cards, so this is the object, and his object is a gun. So these are the stairs, these 3. These are the sink. These 3 are the bath. These 3 are the front bedroom chair. These 3 are the front bedroom bed. These 3 are under the bed in the back bedroom. These 3 are on the bed in the back bedroom. At the window in the back bedroom. These 3 are in the attic. And this one's on the roof. So yeah, if you have 18 placements, you're going to be left with 1 card. So you just have to remember the person in that location. So now I've memorised the deck, I'll give you an example. So I'll put it back together now, and I'll just pause the video while I put it back together. Now I have the deck together, I'm going to attempt to remember what I've just looked at. So at that time it took me about 10 minutes. When you first learn it, it might take a bit long, because ideally what you could do is get a pen and paper and write down what the hearts are, what the spades are, and the person, action, object for each card, and that will also help you remember what your cards are.